and welcome to the Snow Horse Marketing Podcast. We are so excited to have Donovan here today. Thank you, Donovan, for joining us.
Hey, Sarah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. For those listening in, Donovan is a marketing mentor and business strategist. He has tons of experience. We're so excited to have him. And today we want to talk a little bit about Google Performance Max with AI. And then we'll also talk a little bit about conversions and optimizations for lead generation. So this is a great convo for anyone who's wanting to get that quality traffic to convert. So just to kick it off, Donovan, tell me a little bit about your experience with Google Performance Max.
Well, Google Performance Max is a part of the Google advertising platform. So it used to be Google AdWords back in the day, but I think 6 years ago they changed that name. It's just Google Advertising now. Performance Max has been coming on the scene over the last year or two. I don't really remember when it came on, but Performance Max is the newest incarnation of the advertising platform, and it's using AI to bring visitors and sellers together. So it's whatever you're selling, whether it's a service or a product, it's finding people that are the best, most likely people to convert. And if it's used correctly, it can be extremely powerful. So that's kind of been what I've been implementing for the last part of this year with all of my clients and businesses as well. And it's just a different approach that is working so far. And I saw the writing on the wall with regard to AI. There's no resisting it. It's futile. So we just have to join up and start applying it. And yeah, it is an exciting possibility, the way that it can help you find your target market in a way that wasn't there before. So does that answer your question right?
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I love how AI is really coming in and being adapted in different ways. And I also love how you're mentioning about how it's targeting correct people with that Google AdWords section. Correct me if I'm not understanding, but I feel like being able to target, I mean, obviously we have the capability, we have hashes, we have pixels, we have the capability, and Google's the one keeping track of most of the audiences. Google has a great database for that. But what I feel is most interesting is getting the Google AdWords targeted to the right people, because the experience and pain point I know a lot of people have experienced with AdWords is it's just a wide net. And so you get a lot of bounces, you can increase your bounce rate at times, or you get really low quality traffic. So what have you noticed as you're comparing apples to apples, like just a typical Google Ads, platform versus doing the performance? How is it targeting better, and what does that look like for your clients?
Well, just to be clear, they no longer call it Google AdWords. So I'm just going to correct you if you don't mind, because it is an important distinction at this point. And it's no offense to you, but Google Ads does have still search and display and YouTube advertising. So those things are still valid. Search is still valid if it's in the budget for a company to have both search and Performance Max, and I use them together. And I also use retargeting or remarketing. So they do just slightly different things, each of them. And I think the Performance Max it's playing more of a role of like a brand awareness, and it's reaching people that don't know that they're searching for something. They don't even know yet. I sense that it uses so many data points to kind of find people and follow them with your ads across 5 different channels: YouTube and search and display. And it goes discovery, which is on the phone of Android devices. So it's reaching out in all these unique ways, and just kind of it's kind of nurturing the traffic. Whereas somebody who does a search is going to see your ad once, and they'll find you and they'll be exposed to you, but that's it. So now we get them on the remarketing, and we get Performance Max using these. You use a lot of assets within Performance Max, a lot of different headlines, a lot of different descriptions, a lot of different images, and it keeps rotating them. And I sense that those rotations and the way that the imagery and the message is displayed evolves based on the user and where they're at in this familiarity pipeline, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I know we use different tools here at Snowhorse, but that cross marketing effect makes a huge difference. And I love how it can go from search to YouTube to display. Like I don't know how many of our listeners realize this, but most people need to see about a new brand 57 times before they're willing to go investigate it. And
Sure.
then after they investigate it, they come to the website. They typically need to hear about it 7 to 14 times, depending on the industry and price points. And so that retargeting factor is so essential in being able to get those conversions on the website, because a lot of people, they'll throw ads out there at getting traffic. Maybe even they get quality traffic. But if you're not doing the retention side and you're not doing the cross marketing side, if all the ads are on Facebook and Instagram, or all the ads are on YouTube, right? Or if all the ads are on Pinterest, whatever it may be, if you're doing that omni channel, or even just two, maybe you're just doing Facebook and Pinterest, that's still better. But being able to have that dynamic makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I think of it like brand awareness. If you're seeing TV ads over and over again, or you're seeing, you see a TV ad, or and then you hear an ad on the radio for the product, it starts to become the obvious choice in the market. So that's what I love about this new platform, and it's working very well. And then you know, it's just going to be remain to be seen how that evolves. It's so new, but I'm pretty much yeah. What other questions do you have about it? I can talk about conversion too if you want.
No, I definitely would love to hear more about your thoughts on conversions and getting people to the website and getting ICP or personas right.
Yeah. So the critical thing we look for when we're building a campaign um, is message to market match. What for me as a marketing expert and a business strategist, I'm very interested in what the emotions are associated with the thoughts that our target audience has, that our our target, what do you call it, the ICP, ideal uh,
Yeah, ideal
ICP,
customer profile. Some people call it
ideal
personas.
customer
Well,
profile, right, right,
avatars.
the
Yeah.
avatar. I'm
Mhm.
very much interested in what the emotions are connected to their thoughts, and by truly empathizing with those, that to me is how we connect a product or service with these people. And provided that the product or service is truly dedicated to serving that client and delighting them, I don't have any scruples about really being clear and direct on how to reach into that subconscious desire the person has. So when we build a campaign, I look for the language and the dialogue, and I use AI to help me build headlines and descriptions, um, and then we test that, and it starts to show us what kind of language people respond to. So if you're in a legal market, for example, it turns out saying "we will fight for you" in a particular legal market is an important thought process for a potential client. We'll fight for you. Which makes sense because they're vulnerable and they need help. So we're empathizing with them and siding with them. So now, when they come to the website, we want to espouse the same kind of psychology, the same ideology. We want to be in alignment and have that coherence in the message from the beginning to the end. So there's three things that I recommend every website have that all of our websites try to provide right away. And number one is, am I in the right place? And then number two is, and I'll unpack each of these. Is this legit? And then number three is, what's next? And so I really try to bring that to the website. And am I in the right place? When a person lands there, when the ICP lands there, they got to know within a few seconds that we solve your problem. We care about you and we solve your problem. Um, USP, the description of what we do, how we do it, and that helps to clarify it so there's not cognitive dissonance in the visitor's mind. Then the next thing is this legit? Um, that's where we want to make sure we have Google reviews, client testimonials. That has to be just front and center around our message as much as possible so that people know that this is actually a high status service or product provider. Also, the imagery that we use is very important, and the way things are laid out. So that speaks to that feeling of, I need to trust somebody with this product problem I have. Is this legit? And then the third thing was, what's next? Once a person is exposed to it, we want to get them to take action as quickly as possible. So we want to make it really brain dead simple what needs to be done. Fill out this form, take this quiz, send us an email using a tracking email on the website, do a phone call, a live chat, any combination or all of those things to try and make it as easy as possible to get that prospect into our sales funnel. And if they're not ready, maybe an exit pop-up that says, hey, we have a free something for you that, we hope that you'll love and you can have it if you're interested. Then they'll go into an autoresponder sequence, of course, that will nurture them along with the retargeting advertising. So those are that I think of the advertising and the way that we're setting it up and the way that we're creating the website. They're all part of an organism, a holistic organism that has to work together in a synergistic fashion. And that's kind of my art. I'm sure that's yours as well, but I'm passionate about that.
No, I love that three-pronged approach. Like, am I at the right place when you show it to a website? Making reviews front and center. I feel like it's so important. On the homepage, there's got to be reviews. People have got to be able to see that you're legit. There's so much out there in the world. I know for a lot of our clients, that's one of the main things we do is called social proofing, which is a lot of digital marketing, retargeting to help them look legitimate. It's another advantage of that cross marketing. Being on multiple platforms shows, it's a visual cue that you're a legitimate company.
Sure.
And then the what's next. Obviously, anyone who's driven into like Hotjar or any sort of tracking or UX has experienced that what you think is driving someone to a next step may not actually be working, getting them to the next step.
Right. And people have different modalities. Some people just they want to do a phone call. Others are terrified of phone calls. They want something much more passive. So we give them as many options as we can to just get them to say yes and raise their hand.
Oh yeah, like I know we have a landing page for our own company where we do a Google form, and we're actually in the middle of updating our website because we want people to be able to outreach us. And so we're actually creating a way for them, hey, email us today, because we found a lot of people don't want to fill out a form because they don't know where it's going to. A lot of people have had bad experiences with forms. I know some clients that we've worked with. There's one client in particular, I remember from a few years ago, we ended up getting them over 50 leads, like in 30 days through the website. It was beautiful. And they didn't reach out to a single one of them. And I remember just having to have a conversation with that client being like, we can get you all the leads that you could handle, but you got to reach out to them or you're not going to make a sale. And that's the other thing is anyone who's managing conversions knows if your conversion is like a sell through the page, you need to make sure that you're reaching back out to them. And even if it is a sell through the page, you want that retargeting email, not just a confirmation order, but like, we're excited to send this to you. This is when you should expect for it to come out. Just something that's encouraging them. Maybe even it's just a follow-up with the shipping, like, hey, it's shipped. It will be with you in 3 days or whatever it may be. I feel like it's so important for people to do that little extra next step. It makes such a difference.
Yeah. And so we use marketing automation for that. Things like Keep or Active Campaign. What do you prefer to use for your marketing automation?
So it really depends on the email side. There's a couple of different methods. If they're in Shopify, there's like a free tool in there. There's also a really good one.
There's a lot of different CRMs and
there's a lot at the tip of my tongue. But there's also, I really like using AdRoll as well. If you're also doing retargeting, it's a great way to blend doing display, web, and email together. That one's a really powerful tool. I always love AdRoll. It's a great one. Rollworks is also another one. It's a sister to AdRoll, but it's more on the business side. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, there's a couple of really good options out there. What ones do you prefer to use?
Active Campaign. Once somebody gives us their contact information, we can send them SMS messages. We can send them email. I can trigger an automated phone call to people that just rings through to it's a ringless voicemail that says, hey, we've got this and that and the other thing. That's another idea that I just remembered. Sometimes making a 24-hour free recorded message is another great way to engage people who aren't ready, that just want a passive way to learn more about your product or service. And that's something that's worth exploring more. It's not used. It's more like old school, but I think there's something to it because I do use it for one of my businesses and it's working. So I thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, well, and I will say old school's coming back, especially since COVID and AI has come in. Like we have so many clients who we're actually doing mailers with and we're doing print with, and it's way upped the conversion. Again, it's that cross-marketing effect of something in hand. It adds legitimacy to your real business as something showing up in a mailbox. Those things are really coming back. There was a lot of push against them for a long time, but they're coming back strong right now. And a lot of it's because individuals will trust a piece of paper coming in the mail more than a website these days,
Sure.
just because of AI's made it easier for people to duplicate, scam, create
Sure.
things that are similar. So I know that's also effective.
Yeah. So what else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I feel like we covered what we came in here to talk about.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You've done a fantastic job sharing some great tips about how to set up a website, using new tools, Google Performance Max. The cross marketing is so important, and so I love that you kind of fine tune that. Any last things that you'd like to share with our listeners if they'd like to learn more about you, or even Google Performance Max? What would be the best way for them to get in touch?
Yeah, so my name's Donovan Kovar with a K, K-O-V as in Victor, A-R. And you could just send me an email to donovankovar@gmail.com or go to newadgroup.com. That's my website. It's newadgroup.com. And I'm just open to having conversations with people. I'm looking for people who understand the value or the importance for me to work with somebody. There has to be a high degree of commitment to service, delighting the customer. And because I take it very seriously when I market something, and this is good to talk about, if we're going to leverage AI and these tools and we're to get into people's subconscious quicker and faster and touch them, it's really important that we deliver on the fulfillment end. And we do what we say we're going to do. So that is something I'm looking for, people who are passionate about their business and serving people, but they're not hitting it all on all 8 cylinders yet for how they reach people in their market. So newadgroup.com, Donovan Kovar. I appreciate you having me here, Sarah.
Yeah, of course. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you.